how did COVID affect your business and your legal practice? Julie, why don't I start with you?
And our tech planning really set us up to have the right technologies and platforms available for people to be working remotely. I think back to my law firm days, it would have been a nightmare in comparison to what our experience was at 3Q, where we had to shift almost overnight to an entirely remote workforce. In terms of the role that the in-house lawyer plays, I think our role really stepped up to make sure that we were enacting and activating our business continuity plan, making sure it was working, keeping our teams aligned and communication lines open, and working closely with the executive team and our communications team to have the right communications both internally and externally. So it was a very high velocity timeline for, I think, the in-house teams.
So I saw the amount of communication coming my way as Associate General Counsel, triple. And that was a little bit of a surprise for me, but after that sort of ebb and flow was managed, it really, things went back to normal. And, not to shamelessly plug, Olga and her company, but the ability to, leverage her software into a completely all digital workflow where everyone knew what to do. And there was really no question as to how the SOP needed to change, because it didn't. I think really benefited us. And it was remarkably overall a very smooth transition.
Your company has implemented the contract lifecycle management solution literally a few weeks or months before COVID. What was your process before, and what would, if you continued with that process during the COVID, what would it mean for your organization?
Sure. So our organization sort of grew organically. It started as this sort of, stereotypical true believer, tiny nonprofit, and then steadily grew rapidly over the last few years to the point where, we were executing 40 to 50 contracts a month. And it was all manual. So everyone was storing contracts in a variety of different places on network drives. Teams were handling contract negotiation by themselves, sometimes with zero legal support. And then we were doing it all on paper. So when I first came into this role, my job was to establish standard operating procedures, make sure everyone was on the same page, keep track of everything that was going on. And I was doing that through an Excel sheet and email. And it quickly became apparent to me that we either needed to hire 10 lawyers or we needed a more robust solution. And so that's what really changed with Parley Pro. We were able to come up with a pipeline that was fully digital, that everyone was easily able to integrate with and understand, and that gave me complete oversight over the process, straight from contract intake to electronic signature at the very end. Without having implemented that before the COVID process, I shudder to think what it would have been like. It would have been unmanageable, and then there would have been serious operational issues.
I think one of the most interesting things is, as our offices are shut down, we'll still be getting paper checks from our customers. I'm not quite exactly sure who in accounting is sending the checks, but we've been, getting checks, and so we've had to, some employees voluntold to go to the office in a hazmat suit and, get the checks and go to the bank. So I think that was one of our contingency planning. That wasn't, we didn't quite think about that. It was more like, how do we take care of our customers first and foremost?